Sean, can you give us an example of one of the sources of bias at that attraction phase that participants might have talked about in the working group?
Yeah, Beth, I'm happy to. I think that bias at the attraction phase is very important because it can determine who even enters into our pipeline, which is super important because that's the main determinant of who makes it through the pipeline is eventually matriculated into our companies. Something that we talked about a lot in the working group, which is a really important thing to consider, is that the language that we use as a company, specifically in things like advertisements and recruitment materials, it matters. This language, it can signal to people what the culture of our company is. And so to be more specific, something that we talked about in the working group was this concept of gendered wording, which is that, we can have job advertisements and they can have a greater or lesser degree of masculinized or feminized words in them. So a good example of masculinized words would be things like, leader, competitive, dominant. And to the extent that our recruitment materials might have more of these words, it might communicate to people on the outside that we have more of a masculinized culture at this company. And so when women, for instance, are looking at these recruitment materials, they might not be thinking, oh, I don't have the skills to do this job, but they might be concerned with whether they're going to belong in this company, whether they're going to find more people like them if they take the offer. And so in this way, the language that we're using to represent our company, it can turn some people off and also weave some people in to the hiring pipeline. So it's important to be attentive to.
Yeah, I think that is an important issue. And I wonder, it's nice to get the clarity there on the gendered wording. What are some strategies that firms are using to address that?
Yeah, so I think there's two pieces here. One piece is just awareness, right? So when companies and the people who are generating these materials are aware that this can be a problem, and we're not just using colloquial language that we're not thinking about, that's sort of the first step. But then beyond awareness, there's some good tools online that are available to help address this kind of problem. One of them is like Textio, for instance, which is a platform that organizations can use, and they can type out their recruitment materials in the platform, and Textio will give them back a report of the extent to which they're using masculinized wording, or maybe the extent to which this job advertisement is going to be more attractive to older individuals. And so first we want to be aware that this is a possible problem, and then after we're aware of that, there's some good programs online that can help people to mitigate this. So it's not just matching your job advertisement with a written dictionary of words. There's some tools we can use to make it a bit easier.
Yeah, it's great that we've got technology that can help us with that for sure.